All right. This next video, what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna talk about service. Now, I said this earlier this year because I was reading a certain book, and oh man, I forgot what's the name of the book. I forgot the name of the book. Oh man, it's on my old Instagram page. But yeah, in life, you literally only serving God or the devil. Like you're not serving both. There's people out there that'll be like, man, you truly God and the devil, and you serving both and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, you're not, bro. You're literally not serving God and the devil. You have to choose a side. Trying to serve both is the same as being indecisive. It's the same thing. How do you know if you serving God and when you serving God versus if you serving the devil and when you serving the devil? It's quite simple. It's quite simple. Now, the devil, you got your 7 sins, then you got your 7 virtues. Okay. When you serving the devil, you're in your weakest state. You're weak. You're mentally weak. Okay. The devil only comes when you aren't being strong. So in a sense, you're either feeding your strength or you're feeding your weakness, in a sense. You see? And by feeding, I mean giving your attention to. So you're either giving your attention to your strength and your godliness, or you're giving your attention to your weakness and your devilment, your devil mind, your devil mentality. You see? One way to tell when you're serving God is through how you eat. What kind of foods are you eating? What are you doing? What kind of intentions do you have? I understand we out here, we want to enjoy life. We want to eat what we want to eat. I'm the same way. But I'm aware that there's certain foods either I need to not partake in, or I have to minimize or minimalize my usage of them or my consumption of them. That's in my godhood, so to speak. Same thing with substances. You either got to minimize it or just eliminate it totally. Another way to know if you're serving your godhood is, are you out here helping people? Are you out here helping people, serving others, or are you the person that wants everybody to serve you without you serving them back? You see? Another way to tell. Energy, I like using the algebra and the geometry analogy. There's an equal sign. Right? There's an equal sign when it comes to an equation. Equation equal. So you got, let's say, 1 plus 1 equals 4 minus 3. Or excuse me, 5 minus 3. That'd be 2 equals 2. Okay? That's how you got to be working with your energy. If you want something, if you have some kind of desire, you've got to be willing to put forth a certain amount of energy in order to get that desire. It has to equal the desire. You see? So let's say if you want $10, you got to do something, give something, or put forth a certain amount of energy in order for you to, basically, you got to put forth $10 worth of energy somehow, some way, if that's what you want. If you want $50 worth of energy, you got to do that. $100 worth of energy, you got to do that. You got to put forth a certain amount of energy in order to get it in return. Some of us like to call it alchemy. It just, whatever word or concept we want to use, that's how we understand it. That's how I understand it as well. But yeah, when it comes to that equal sign, if you're not putting forth the amount of energy that you desire, and you're trying to force others to give you what you desire, or you're trying to force someone or something to basically give you something that you really ain't worthy of it. You know, if you're not worthy of something, or if you have a low sense of self-worth, you can't expect to get something that's very valuable if and or when you have a low sense of self-worth. Okay? You can't. In your devilment, or when we in our devilment, we're going to request and want things that are unreasonable. Being unreasonable is also your devil state of mind, so to speak. Because you see, God is the voice of reason. You see? When you're being reasonable, when you're around other people who are being reasonable, using logic, finding solutions, they're on the God frequency. They serving God. They're not serving the devil. When you're unreasonable, when you're unrighteous, self-righteous, doing things to hurt people, having fucked up intentions, that's serving the devil. When you being deceitful and you lying, not being honest, not being transparent, being vague, causing confusion, spreading confusion, all that is the devil's work. God's work is clarity. God's work is transparency. Nothing opaque. God's work is transparent. See, me, I gravitate towards the God frequency. So what that means is, if there's a person entertaining their devil mind, especially often, not serving God, it's going to be hard for them to be around me. There's going to be destructive interference. Destructive. Not constructive, meaning we building. It's going to be destructive. You're going to be destroying shit. You see? Even if you in an environment or in a situation to where you find yourself complaining often, it's probably because you're entertaining the devil energy instead of the godly energy. You see? It's easy. It's easy, man. It's easy to tell. The devil is also something. The devil mind is also something that exists without acknowledgement. Meaning, let's say somebody's doing something that's harmful to others or harmful to themselves, yet they're not acknowledging what it is. Right? When you don't acknowledge something, there's no way to move forward. You get stuck and keep doing the same patterns in the same cycle. That's your devil mind as well. You see, when you're not growing and you're being what we like to call stagnant, you're entertaining your devil mind. You're supposed to be growing, expanding, tapped into your Jupiter, your growth and your expansion. That's your Jupiter, your growth and your expansion. You see? So when you come out here, see all the plants, see all the green, see all the godliness. God and green go hand in hand. I'm going to start saying that now. God and green go hand in hand. Hand in hand. You know that when you're in an environment that's full of green, you're closer to God. When you're in an environment that's close, when you're in an environment that's closer to what's organic and closer to what's natural, that's you being closer to God. When you're speaking positively and eliminating negative affirmations and negative connotations, the nots and the can'ts and the don'ts and the won'ts and wouldn't and all of that. When you're entertaining that energy, that's entertaining the devil mind. It stops the person from moving forward. See? So you have to practice forward thinking, forward speaking, positive thinking, positive speaking. Things that cultivate growth. That's what you got to talk about. That's what you got to be about. You see? Living in all that deceit and all that confusion, the devil stuff, it's not going to cut it. Especially around me, because I'm not going to deal with it. I'm either going to entertain it for a little bit, not entertain it at all, or feel it out. Sometimes even though I'll see or experience the devilish energy, the weak energy, I'll entertain it for a little bit. Sometimes a lot of it. Sometimes I get trapped into it and caught into it and give it too much energy. I know that I do that at times. At times, not all the time, but at times. You know, it's 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 a really powerful thing to be the bigger person. It's a really powerful thing to come up with solutions, to look for solutions, to look to repair and to fix instead of destroying. It's a very powerful thing. And on this frequency, with this way of thinking, being surrounded by fruit, being in all the green. What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Sometimes I just sit out here and just enjoy what I see. I could be hungry. I might have to pee. I might have to poop. But sometimes I could just ignore those feelings just to embrace all of this. Just being in the environment, breathing in all the oxygen, the good air, the great superior air quality that Puerto Rico has. Sometimes I just sit out here, yo. I want to say, I recall watching a yogi, specifically a yogi, say that your most innocent moments in life are when you're doing nothing. Though that's a negative connotation. But he said your most, but he said your most innocent, some of your most innocent times in life are when you're doing nothing. Specifically when you're sleeping. Not doing nothing. I stand corrected. It's not doing nothing. It's when you're sleeping. The reason why is because when you're sleeping, you can't hurt anybody. You can't hurt yourself. You can't hurt someone else. You can't hurt a thing. Nor can a thing hurt you. You're sleeping. You know, that's your most innocent time. The goal is to be able to not be asleep and still be innocent. The goal is to repent, wash yourself, and clean yourself and rid yourself of your sins, your negative ways of thinking, your negative patterns, your confusing patterns, your all of that, yo, your deceit. You got to cleanse yourself of all those patterns so that you can be in tune, in alignment, and in harmony with the healthy patterns and the God state of mind, the Allah state of mind, the Krishna, the Christ consciousness, the Buddha. You know, you got to be enlightened. In order to be enlightened, you have to get rid of all of the things that have tainted your mind. You have to get rid of all the things that stimulate and taint your mind. You know, take back control over your life. Take control. You're the driver and the navigator, should I say, of your life. And you need to be in control of it. Keep in mind, as I said before in my earlier video, if you being a devil, yo, it's because you weak. It's literally because you weak. You can have all the muscles in the world. You can have all the popularity in the world, all the money in the world. But if you being a devil, it's because you're weak. The material things that you have, the physical working on yourself real good and being in really good shape. If you being a devil, it doesn't matter. Like your sense of self-worth is still really low. I also think that people who are engaging in devilish activity or devilish movements, lower frequency as we would say, they have a low sense of self-worth already. It's just like if a woman or a man were to only seek out partners that are rich or partners that can just give them a whole lot of money, etc., intentionally seeking that out. Like, you know how you got some women that are looking for a sugar daddy. You see, you got some women that are looking for a sugar daddy, or some women that are like, man, I just want to be with a man who got a lot of money. I don't care about nothing else. I just want him to have a lot of money. The reason why they have that state of mind is because the women already have a low sense of self-worth. So they don't see the value in themselves, so they look for value in other people. And the value, if it's money, of course, they're just looking for a superficial value. They're not going to feel fulfilled. They won't have anything. When you got a low sense of self-worth, you can't bring anything to the table when you're in a relationship. You ain't nothing to bring there. Like you could not have money, but have skills. At least your skills would be something that you could bring to the relationship. You know, and most of it, well, every time, if you got skills and you've been cultivating your skills, opportunities are gonna pop up in order for you to use that talent, in order for you to use that skill, and that's what you're gonna have to bring to any relationship, regardless of if you're sexually involved in that relationship or not. You're gonna be able to bring your skills and your talents. You see. But if you're not trying to cultivate your skills and your talents, then you're probably just gonna fall into the devilish, wicked patterns. You see. So you have to be cultivating. I'm out here cultivating. Let me talk about myself some. I'm out here cultivating my energy. I'm cultivating my skills. I'm better. I'm a better networker than I was before. I'm a better mechanic. I'm better with my hands. I'm a better carpenter. Do a little plumbing too, just a little. I'm bettering myself. I'm improving myself. I'm upgrading. Entertaining my God self, my higher self, my highest frequency, my highest thoughts. You know, I'm not doing all of the same stuff that I did before that put me in the low state of mind, so to speak. I'm doing things that are making me greater. You know, I'm doing stuff that's making me greater. I'm doing things and learning things that are making me more valuable, not only to myself but to others. You know, I'm a highly requested energy, whether it be through my words or through my actions. I'm highly requested because I'm high value. I'm high quality. You see? But always keep in mind, yo, I could say it over and over and over. It's easy to tell when a being or when the mirror is reflecting the wicked energy. When you holding a good frequency, when you're practicing having good vibes and doing healthy patterns, most of the time that's what you're gonna see. Like if you practicing being good, usually when you look at other people, you're gonna see the good in them as well. It's your reflection. But if you're not practicing being good and you're practicing being evil, then you're gonna start seeing more. You're gonna start seeing people as evil or seeing people as not good because you're not practicing being a good person. You see? Now I've been in situations to where, of course, I'm in a group, and some people practicing the good stuff more than others. Some are practicing the bad stuff or the evil stuff more than others. So there's some confusion in there because it should be a clear reflection. Like, all right, if I'm on this frequency, if I call myself the head or if you call yourself the head, and some are practicing the good stuff and some are practicing the evil stuff, you're going to have to get rid of the ones that are practicing the evil stuff. Because like I said before in the previous video, this life is a reflection of you. Now, when it comes to the negative patterns that some of these reflections are doing, you also have to be willing to acknowledge those patterns in yourself. As soon as you acknowledge those patterns in yourself, then you can come up with a situation, the universe, your mind, life is going to give you a situation so that you don't have to keep engaging in that same negative pattern that you had to acknowledge subjectively. Or excuse me, you had to acknowledge it objectively. You see it subjectively, but you got to acknowledge it and go, all right, so I've done these patterns before that I'm seeing somebody else do, and it's annoying me. So cool, it's got to be something that I did before. I'm watching this other person do these things that are causing me drama or stress or trauma or pain. In some way, shape, or form, I did those same things because they're inside of me. I'm seeing it because it's inside of me. And it's something that I've done before. It's like looking at my past and getting the opportunity to correct my past actions through acknowledging what the mirror's showing me, you see. So when I'm around when I'm around the more negative energies, the more harmful, destructive energies, let's say destructive, I had to acknowledge, all right, cool, I used to have destructive patterns. I used to have destructive patterns, or I have destructive patterns, and now I'm doing what I can to change it. I need opportunities and situations to help me change those destructive patterns. I need them. You see, that's where you got to be at. That's where I'm at. I'm out here improving myself as much as possible. As much as possible. I'm not a big fan of the negative energies. I'm not a big fan of the confusion and the deceit. The deceit, that's the word, the deceit. I'm not a big fan of that. So what I have to do is practice being more transparent, being more clear, and that's what I do. I practice being more transparent. I practice being more transparent. I practice transparency, being open about my feelings, about my emotions, about what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. I practice transparency. And that's what helps me move forward. I acknowledge the things that I've done to hurt others and hurt myself, and that helps me move forward. But when I'm not acknowledging the things that I've done to hurt other people and hurt myself, then I'm not moving forward. I stay in the same spot, and then I engage the hell paradigm. The hero paradigm is when you're doing the same thing over and over and over, yet expecting different results. That's insanity. That's the hell paradigm. It's like a cycle of the same stuff over and over and over and over, and you can't break free of it until you acknowledge, hey, I've been in this cycle of doing this same stuff. Hey, I've been in this cycle of doing the same stuff over and over and over. Now that I know and I'm self-aware enough to see that I've been doing these same patterns over and over and over, I can switch my patterns. I can change and adjust my patterns. I can take control over my life. But you can't take control over your life if you're not acknowledging what is. God is. God is what is. Allah is what is. Krishna, Buddha, Christ consciousness, that you're paying attention to. What is. If you're paying attention to the why nots and the why isn't it and why doesn't it, you're not paying attention to the God stuff. You're not paying attention to the God frequency. You're feeding your attention to the negative connotation. You're feeding your attention to the failure and to the destruction. If you're sitting out here trying to debunk every theory and every concept, you're trying to go against it, trying to debunk it. You're not feeding what is. You're not. That's not trying to get clarity or anything like that. If you're going around trying to debunk the truth, or trying to debunk a good concept, that ain't it. You're not feeding your godhood or your good self, your higher self. If you want to argue, if you want to debate, that ain't doing nothing but feeding the devil, because it's confusion. Arguing is confusion. Debating, confusion. It's not building. Building, when you're building with somebody, you can find a way to agree with them. Like some people, and this is really dumb in my opinion, some people say, well, we can just agree to disagree. Look, bro, look, let me tell you something. First off, the phrase itself is confusing. When you hear somebody talking about something, you don't have to outright disagree with them. You don't have to. What you can do is you can find the parts of a statement that you do agree with and acknowledge it, and then keep moving forward. But if you just want to say, all right, well, I got my perspective and you got your perspective, and that's it. I don't have to change it. I don't have to be aware of this. I don't have to be aware of that. I just have my perspective and I'm keeping it no matter what. You're entertaining your devil energy when you do that. You're entertaining it. So my filter, I keep saying that I keep my bullshit helmet strapped on tight. I keep it strapped on tight. So when I'm around it, I got to get away from it. I'll acknowledge it, and then I'll get the fuck away from it. That's it. I protect my energy. It's important for me to protect my energy. It's important for you to protect your energy. It's important for me to protect my sanity, and it's important for you to protect your sanity. You got to. Because you see, when you're around those that have your best interest at heart, That's the God frequency. They helping you. When you're around those that have their own best interest at heart, that's the devil frequency. You actually here to serve others. You're here to serve others. I can understand, like for me, I'm an 11th house Mercury and an 11th house Sun. So even when I'm doing things to serve myself, I'm fully aware that others are going to benefit from whatever I'm doing. I grow a lot of plants. I can't eat all of this shit. All this fruit, all these herbs, I'm not going to be able to eat it myself. There's no way. There's no way. I wouldn't even give myself a situation to where I'm the only one that can consume. I'm the only one that can do this. I'm the only one that can benefit from it. I'm not even like that. So when I move and I do things like this, and I do stuff like this, when I make videos like this, yeah, the videos are for me, but they're also for whoever else wants to watch. They're also for whoever else needs or desires some kind of motivation or inspiration or some kind of sense of direction. It's not just for me. I watch my videos because I love seeing myself in the camera. I love what I talk about. I motivate myself. I inspire myself. So of course, when I make my videos, I also go back and watch them. I like to listen to the subjectivity and the objectivity. I like to listen to all of it. I like to watch old videos to see how I've improved. You know, I track my progress. Making videos and sending messages is part of accountability. I literally save an account of what I've said and what I've done. You see, it's accountability. Anytime you're posting things on social media, or you're saving pictures in your phone, or saving videos in your phone, saving text, you have an account of it. Accountability. You have an account of it. An account is something that you can acknowledge. You see, when it comes to that devil energy, one pattern you'll notice is that there's a lack of accountability. Accountability, meaning the being that's engaging in the devilish activities or in the destructive activities, they're not taking into account their actions. So of course, what they're doing continues to persist until they're like, wait a second, I'm doing this thing that's hurtful, or I'm doing this thing that's harmful, and I keep doing it until they become self-aware enough, until one becomes self-aware enough to say that. Then and only then can one move forward. If you have a cut on your arm or a scrape on your arm, for example, you know, well, I should have posted it, videos and stuff of me recovering, but on October the 1st, I cut my foot open. Like this foot right here, there's that scar right there. Let me see my camera right there. All right. I could have got stitches for the scar. My foot, I kicked something. I didn't have my shoes on in the backyard, and I kicked something that was metal, and it literally split my skin open. And it wasn't a surface injury. It split my skin open. I probably should have got stitches. In my opinion, I should have got stitches. But like over this month, over the whole month of October, my skin healed itself. I would put Neosporin on it. I would put what's the word? It's Neosporin and some other kind of antibacterial thing, and I'll put it on my foot every day with a Band-Aid, and I'll keep it protected. All right, cat. I would keep it protected. I'd keep the antibiotics on it, and day after day, especially at nighttime, because this is what was so amazing about it. Day after day, at nighttime, I could feel my skin pulling itself back together. And I would have this spell I kept saying, pull yourself back together, because it's symbolism, pull yourself back together, you know. And every day, like I said, every night, excuse me. In the daytime, I do all my nursing, and at nighttime, I could just feel my skin, especially when I laid down or if I didn't move, I could feel my skin just pulling itself together. I could feel myself being in the recovery phase or the regeneration phase. And I could feel my immune system working and my lymphatic system working. I could feel it through my foot, you know. But the point of me saying all of that is, just like with anything positive, just like with anything negative, you have to give it attention so that you can transmute the energy. or correct it, or move the energy in a different direction. Without giving it the proper attention, it's just gonna keep happening. It's just gonna keep happening, yo. Like, ain't no running from it, getting away from it. It's just gonna keep happening. You gotta give it attention. You actually have to give negative energy your attention in order to attempt to make it positive. You know? Yeah, you can ignore it. You can ignore the negative sometimes, but you're not gonna be able to ignore it all the time. You have to give it some kind of energy so that it can move in a different direction. If I have a ball and I throw it, yeah, I think this might be a good analogy. If I have a ball and I just throw it as far as I can, and I'm in a field. Let's say I'm in a field and I have a ball and I throw it as far as I can. The energy of that ball isn't gonna come back to me. Huh. But let's say I got a wall. Why did I just say that? I'm actually gonna have to watch this. I just had a really good analogy. But if I throw the ball at the wall, the energies at least can come back to me. Why did I say that? The analogy is fitting. Oh well, I forgot. It'd be all right. But yeah, make sure that when it comes to negative traits, if somebody outside of you, i.e. your mirror, your mind, is telling you that you're doing something negative, instead of just ruling them out and not entertaining the possibility that what they're saying is true, you should actually look into it and be like, okay, why are they saying this? Why are they saying it? Forget the fact that they said it. Why are they saying it? What did they see in me that I may not be seeing in myself? You see, if I just reject it, if I just reject a comment or a statement without entertaining it, I'm being closed-minded. I'm not putting myself in a position to learn or to grow. You see? So keep yourself open-minded. Keep yourself open-minded. And for the record, regardless of what people hear me say, or what the mirror, my reflections hear me say, or hear me do, or see me do, my entire intention behind making videos, my entire intention behind sending messages through text and words, my entire intention behind growing different plants and teaching about plants and nature and good health is to help others, yo. And it's for upliftment. I'm here to uplift. You if you're in a state of pride and you think you're all high and mighty, holier than thou, self-righteous, etc., or being a devil, so to speak. And maybe let's say you feel like you're not in a position to need to be uplifted. What that means is you already kind of down low. Like, think, if somebody's uplifting you, they have to be above you to pick you up. Like, they got to be above you, see that you beneath them, or see that you laying down, or see that you in a low state, and then they got to do things and say things to lift you up. But first, you got to acknowledge your height. You got to acknowledge how close you are to the ground. You got to be like, wait a second, I'm in this low space. If you really in a low space, you got to acknowledge it. You can't just act like everything's cool. You can't do the toxic positivity thing. Oh no, I'm fine, everything's positive, and there's nothing wrong. You're not going to be able to do that. You see, in order to get uplifted by anybody, you have to be beneath them. You have to be beneath them to be uplifted. That's why you already have to be in a humble state to be uplifted. If you're in a state of pride, you can't be uplifted. You can't. You got to be humble. You have to be practicing humility. You got to put yourself in this lower space, or you have to already be in this lower space so that you can be uplifted. You know? We talk about, I talked many times about how men, when you're looking at these Freemason, Masonic societies and different male groups, many of the times these male groups are about uplifting women. And what we're saying is the people that are in the lowest state are the women. So the men have to be upright and virtuous with a high sense of morality in order to uplift the women, because the women haven't been showing it. As a collective, The women haven't been showing it like the men have as a collective. I ain't saying all women. I ain't saying all men. I'm saying most or the majority, in my experience. So like, don't ever be prideful to the state to where when somebody gives you criticism or constructive criticism, I should say, or some kind of guidance, don't be in this state of, I already know what I'm talking about. Can't nobody tell me shit. Like, you can't be uplifted. You're just gonna stay being a devil. You're still gonna keep doing the wicked stuff. It's pretty simple. It's not attractive. I've seen people, I've seen a person say that they want to feel wanted, but yet they were doing the most devilish stuff. It's like, how do you want to feel wanted when you're a liar, a deceiver, dishonest, all the same, manipulative, I'm using that connotatively, if you're yelling, cussing, screaming, being disrespectful even when it's unwarranted, like, how could you expect somebody to want that? Like, you can't expect people to want you when you're being a devil, being wicked, being sinister, being vile. Like, you can't expect somebody to want that. Nor can I. You have to make yourself more desirable to everything. You have to make yourself more desirable to people, more desirable to insects, more desirable to the plants, more desirable to life. You have to make yourself more marketable. You have to. If you're, doing what you can to be in alignment with your highest self, your higher self, your divinity. We know that the concept of God does not exist without the observer. I'll say it again. We know that the concept of God and Allah and Krishna and Buddha and Christ, none of those things exist without the observer. They need some kind of energy to fuel their existence. You see, every concept needs some kind of energy to fuel it. It's attention. It needs some kind of attention to fuel the possibility of it existing. When you want the devil to exist, when you want the evil and the wicked things to exist, you're going to keep giving those things attention. You're going to keep giving the pain and the misery and the torture and the deceit. You're going to keep giving it energy when you want the devil part of yourself to come out and you want to see it. It's possible that some people have been in a low state for so long that when they finally do have the opportunity to be in the higher states, they don't know how to do it. And I've said this many times before because I love the fact that Velvet said it, where she said some people have been doing fucked up shit for so long. Some people have been doing evil for so long that even when they get the opportunity to do good, they're still going to do the wrong because they've been doing the evil for so long. Are you one of those people? I'm not. You see? What I am is one of the people that as soon as I get the opportunity to do good, I jump to it. When I get the opportunity to help, I jump to it. I have fun. I have fun with it. See, the devil, the lower self, the destructive patterns, the destructive patterns. Why did I just say that? Yo, what is happening in my mind right now? The destructive patterns. Shit. I really am gonna have to watch this. I'm gonna make 2 videos. But yeah, the destructive patterns. Dang! It'll come back to me, yo. It'll come back to me. I'm trying to deliver this message without distractions. There's a lot of different sounds and stuff out there. But where were we, yo? Where were we? Destructive patterns. Keeping healthy perspective. Being desirable. The devil energy isn't, the lower self energy isn't something that's desirable. You know, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Okay, thank you. Grateful and thankful and honored. The lower self energy, the devilish energy, the wicked energy. It does not have fun with things. It's not. It's not looking at an activity as fun. Like, let's say if you got a job and you're dreading going to work, that's that devilish energy, the dread going to work. You got the job. You chose to get the job. But now, when you go to work, you upset that you got to go. Instead of going, I'm going to have me a good day today at work. I'm going to have me a lot of fun. That's the godly energy. That's your higher self. Let's say you working out and you having a hard workout. Or what happened to me, let's say you riding a bike with one of your friends or one of your friends, somebody you know. And while y'all riding the bike, your friend is like, oh man, it's so tiring. Oh, it's such a long ride. It's all of this negative stuff. Right? That's that destructive energy, that devilish lower self energy. But let's say you're on that same bike ride and your friend is like, man, yeah, this is fun, man. It's such a good workout. We got a long way to go, but hey, we gonna get there. This is fun. Look at how beautiful it is on the ride. I'm gonna be so much stronger after this. This is some good exercise. See, all of that is positive. See, that's your enlightened energy, your divine energy, your divinity, your highest self. It's got a different mentality. It's having fun doing it. If you're going to work, any type of engagement you having, as long as you having fun doing it, it's gonna be easy to learn. It's gonna feel good after that. But as long as you're dreading it and having negative thoughts about it, it's not gonna be as fun. It's not gonna be as fun. It's not gonna be as enjoyable. There's not as much growth in it. You know. This is all conceptualization. Perception. Notice that word "sept" in it. Perception, conceptualization. How are you perceiving? How am I perceiving these experiences in life? I better be having fun doing it. If I'm not having fun, then I'm in a different state of mind. When it comes to my life, my job is my life. My business is my life. When it comes to my life, I'm having fun doing this. That's why that's why this is so successful for me. I'm having fun doing it. All of the people that have come by here that have had fun doing this, their lives are also successful. They have fun. It's enjoyable just to be here, just to do some of these things, just to work in the yard or build or organize or express creativity. Have fun doing it. That's your heaven state of mind, your heavenly state, versus your hell state, versus being hell bent. You know, your devil state of mind, your lower self, it's gonna be hell bent on proving a point. It could be totally wrong, or it could be partially wrong, not have all the facts, and still try to prove a point when it doesn't even have all the facts. It's not even practicing objectivity. That's the devil state of mind. That's creating confusion. Confusion. When you got all the facts, it's easy to practice being clear. It's easy to practice clarity and delivering that clear message. This is a clear message. Ain't no confusion in this. This is very clear. I love to make myself clear and be transparent. It's a beautiful day. A little hot. Worked on the house some. Got a new neighbor today. Great. You bringing in good energy and good vibes, wisdom. You know, it's uplifting, man. People need to come by here and experience this because it's a great vibe. It's peaceful. It's harmonious. It's a conducive environment for anybody. Anybody that comes here, anybody that's around me anyways, of course you're going to start being more conducive. That means I'm lit. I'm electric. I'm conducive. I'm conducting. What does a conductor do in music? What does the conductor do in a train? You see? What does it do? I'm not going to answer in the video. You do the research. The train conductor. The conductor's some music, you know. They leading the way. That's what this is about. Being more conducive. In order for you to be more conducive, instead of being more destructive, you gotta be on your shit, man. Gotta be on a high state of mind, a high vibe. High vibrations. I'm over here in the hammock, rocking in the hammock. Just got out of work, relaxing. Feeling good. Entertaining my highest thoughts. And not the devilish stuff and what I can do in the dark and all of that. I ain't entertaining that. Though the possibility of entertaining those things is in me and of me, it's not what I'm entertaining. But I want you to think about that analogy. Something conducting energy. Or think of a conduit, an electrical conduit. Electrical conduit. A conduit. You're supposed to be here electric, making your body more electric, being in electrical environments, being near the beach, being in the water, being in the jungle, being in the rainforest, being in a place that's surrounded by green. That's more electric. You're being more conductive and productive. That's your highest thoughts, your high frequency. But that devilish stuff, man, I used to have this. This is reminding me of something. When I was in the States, preaching and teaching, there was a certain point to where I was like, man, when people aren't around me, I know they doing some shit that ain't no good. Because usually around me, the good stuff would be happening consistently. And then I'd be like, yep, if they somewhere else, they doing some shit they ain't got no business doing. I don't think like that anymore, per se. I'll say sometimes I entertain that thought. Sometimes I do entertain that thought. Sometimes I do entertain that thought. But I've said before to others that are here, that come here, you know, this house, this environment, this energy, and me, this is the storyline for this whole frequency. I'm the storyline for this whole frequency, the main character, the protagonist. I'm the main one. Whether you were to listen to that subjectively and be like, he thinks this, he thinks he's the main one, he thinks he's the protagonist, or if you were to listen to it objectively and be like, oh, I am the protagonist, I am the main character, you're still getting the same message, yo. Regardless of how you're perceiving it, regardless of how it's being perceived. I'm the main character. Tell yourself, I'm the main character. I must tell myself, I'm the main character. I'm the protagonist. If I'm the antagonist, I'm the anti. The antagonist, the demon, the devil, the Satan, the dragon, the beast. If I'm the antagonist, if I'm causing trouble, being deceitful, lying, not being consistent, lacking commitment, all of that stuff, it's the devilish energy. You're not necessarily at war with yourself unless you want to entertain that. And to keep in mind, the word war means to bring about or to cause confusion. That's being at war with yourself. That means you're bringing about confusion. I'm going to say it again. If you're at war with yourself, then you got to be at war with others too, by the way. Keep that in mind. If you at war with self, you are at war with others as well. It's all you. It's all me. It's all I. See? But yeah, when you're at war, you're causing confusion. And you're being confusing. When you're at peace, ain't no confusion. It's just clarity. It's transparency. It's constructive interference versus destructive interference. See? My life is successful and happy and productive because of the type of attention I give myself. Because of the type of things that I feed myself and entertain myself with. So in my life, when I look at my reflection, that's why it's like this. and when others see my reflection. That's why I like this. You can look at the environment a person is in sometimes and tell, oh, that's how that person is. If you look at that environment, that person is a part of that environment. They're just like the environment. I've been here almost 2 years now. So when you look at the environment, you go, oh, that person is just like the environment. It's abundant, it's green, it's organized, it's structured. It's like it's an immune cell. If you were to look at this as a whole body, which it is, the brain, I'm an immune cell. So I'm here to clean stuff up, like the lymphatic system, like a lymph node. Lymph node. Like a lymph. I think that's the right word. Whatever the word is, man. Y'all know what the word is. Yeah. I'm here. I'm part of your immune system. If you're seeing this and watching it subjectively, I'm part of your immune system. Look at what I'm saying. Keep in mind, in order for your immune system to have a job, to have a function, it has to be exposed to the unhealthy stuff as well. If it was just healthy all the time, it wouldn't have a job. It wouldn't be as powerful. In order for your immune system and your lymphatic system to know, in order for you to know how to defend itself, how to defend yourself, you had to actually engage yourself with the negative and with the harmful and with the destructive. You have to. It's the only way to know your power. It's the only way to know where you stand. You have to have some kind of adversity, so to speak, some adverse. So if you're the protagonist, in some way, shape, or form, you're gonna have to have an antagonist. For me to call myself the protagonist, I have to have an antagonist in order for me to be. If I look at all of reality as a story or a movie, every story and every movie has a protagonist, the main character, the hero, and then the antagonist, the heel, the villain. If you ain't got them two in life, you're not necessarily being. But guess what? We all are either the protagonist or antagonist. You just got to peep which frequency you expressing, which patterns are you expressing. You see? I said earlier in my earlier video, when you're in a group, if you're the protagonist and there's somebody in the group that's antagonizing everybody, they're the villain. That's the evil one. And the antagonist is the weakest character in a group. Even in a couple. If one person is more positive and one person is more negative, the weaker one is going to be the one that's the most negative. They're going to be the most harmful and the most hurtful. They weak. It's amazing how the strong people heal and help the most. And the weak ones want everybody else to be as weak as them. So they hurt everybody else and try to pull them down. It's quite unique. It's amazing and it's unique. Now, as I also said in my earlier video, if you have a group and everybody's strong and they're standing strong together, then the only negativity that would come would be from the outside, meaning somebody looking into the group. They're looking into the group and they're giving the group negative energy. They're coming from outside. That's when you know the group is strong. I'm going to say it again because that's divine. That's divine. You know your group is strong when the only negativity you getting is from somebody who not in the group. But if your negativity coming from one of your members, that's the weak one. Yeah, that negativity is still in you, which means there's some kind of weakness in you. However, once you get rid of that weakness, once you get rid of that person, all there is strength. That's it. With me, being with the group I was with, or I am with, because there really ain't no leaving it. It's a frequency, yo. Like, we're always going to be here, no matter what. We're just going to be here, bro. Sis, we're just here. We're here, okay? But, yeah, I had to get rid of the weak links. The weak ones. The weaklings and the weak links. Because the weaklings were the ones who were the most evil, who did the most evil. Let's say you got a group and it's 15 of you. One person is being real evil and real negative. Right? You get rid of that person and then all of a sudden it's somebody else. That somebody else that it was also weak too. But what they did, I guarantee you what they did, is they saw somebody else that had a similar weakness as them, and they wanted to exploit that weakness and put all the attention on the other weak person. But what they miss is, shit, now everybody get to focus on you being weak, or that person being weak, excuse me. You know? But yeah, you see, what I noticed is, with me having the group here, and I'm in my natural state being a leader, that's my most natural form, being a quote unquote alpha, all of that, my most natural, that's what flows the best for me. Once I started getting rid of the weak ones, the weak energies, everything started being way more productive and conducive. Everything. The weak ones, the weak energies are like blockages. They're like blockages in the body. The weak ones are also the evil ones. Look at Plankton. If you watch SpongeBob, you got SpongeBob and Patrick and all of their friends and stuff, and then you got small, teeny, tiny ass, little ass Plankton being evil, being a devil, wanting the Krabby Patty formula, doing whatever he can do. He the weak one, trying to do anything and everything he can to look for some type of strength, because he weak. You see? When you're strong, it's going to be easy for you to uplift others. It's going to be easy for you to go look in the mirror and love what you see. It's going to be easy for you to say, I love myself and mean it. It's going to be easy for you to say, I love us or I love you and mean it. When you're strong. But when you're weak, one of the things you're going to do is always talk about the negative in others. You're not going to look at what they're good at, what they're strong at, because you won't be able to see your own strengths. If all you see in others is negativity, and weakness, then you're not able to see your own strength. That's why you're only seeing the weakness. If all you're seeing in other people is evil and wicked and devilish activity, then you're not able to see your godliness and your divinity. You see, but when you're looking at others and you get to see what they're good at and what they're strong at, and you can talk about what's good about them, regardless of whatever flaw that may seem to be there. When you're talking about all the good in others, it's because you can also see it in yourself. If you're doing what you can to practice being as good as possible, that's kind of all you're going to see in other people. Even if they're doing some kind of wicked stuff or negative stuff, when they get around you, their energy won't even allow them to carry themselves in a certain way. It won't even allow them, unless they start to gang up on you, the energy won't even allow them to carry themselves in that way, because you see so much good in yourself. You see? So it's important. All of this is important. It's really all there is. So this is the most important stuff in life. It's the most important. It's the most profound. Those that know me and that have experienced me know that I'm not going to sit here and have all these shallow conversations all the time, or superficial conversations frequently, I should say. Not all the time, frequently. Most of the time, I'm speaking profoundly. I'm speaking deep and looking deep into things instead of being a surface dweller. You know, I can swim deep and I dig deep. I do a lot of planting. So there's a lot of depth to this character. There's a lot of depth to me. You don't have to peel back layers and do this and do that to try to figure out who I am, what I am. You don't even have to peel back layers. You just know, because I'm transparent. It's already deep. You tapping into me, you tapping into the deepest part of yourself. You opening all the way up. I'm tapping into myself. I'm open. You see? Tapping into my Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. I'm expanding. I'm open. I'm blooming. I'm blossoming. That's why I say that so often. Every so often. Especially when people are new, I'll be like, yeah, I'm a bloom on you. I'm a blossom over you. I'm going to just be opening up and unfolding. Unfolding is another word I use. Objectively, it's really good to hear that. It's really good for the others to hear that. My reflection to hear that. I'm unfolding. I'm opening up. I'm blossoming. See? So the title of this video is going to be how to tell if you're truly strong or weak as fuck. Peace and love.